¿cómo está? Está Bobbie con Brecks Garden está y muchas gracias para beber. Perdóname. Por beber Bobbie Brecks for Life, Bobbie Brecks for su vida y es no trabajo, es feliz y Ride the Planet y Let's Talk Wausau, Wisconsin. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Thank you for letting us into your homes once again from our new to us studio. Bit by bit, we're getting it all taken care of. At any rate, we just cannot say thanks enough for the folks from the former city council members that some of them are not with us any longer. The 19th, April 19th, actually this evening, the new mayor, from what I understand, if I have this wrong, forgive me, the new mayor of Rob Melke, we say congrats to you, and thank you and welcome, as well as Mayor James C. Tipple for granting us part of public access television. Thanks so much. We could have done this, of course, without your help, as well as the other city council members, everybody presently. That's the ones that were there formally, as well as the ones, the new ones coming in. Thank you so much, and adios to the former ones. So thanks again for all your help. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for letting us come into folks' homes and share about what we do to try and help the community. At any rate, thank you again, and adios, and good luck to the new ones. All right, and also wanted to say, give some shouts out here to sponsors. Without them, we would not exist as well. First of all, I want to say thanks so much to St. Paul's United Church of Christ, Pastor Phil, as well as on down the line, everybody there that has contributed to our present situation regarding filming for public access, as well as Bruce Obrantz from the Obrantz Family Foundation, and all of his folks that have helped with just everything in every way that he has. Bill from St. Paul's on down the line. Thanks again, folks. And saying thanks again to Andy, our main cameraman, Rob, Bernie, Amy, Haley, and our new manager of construction, etc., Ed, and welcome. Thank you so much. And the main, of course, umbrella that all of these folks fall under regarding our contribution would be, again, FRASER Family Foundation. That's who we are, and that's how all of these things are sorry. Possible. That's a new word, okay? Okay. All right. So thanks again to Associated Banks of Marathon County, Rob's Catering, Wausau Spring and Alignment, Camera Corner Audio and Visual. Dan Hall, thanks so much again, Dan, for everything that you have contributed to us. We really seriously would not be here without a lot of your contributions. And let's see, County Market, all right, done already some demos, a demo there, and one coming up from what I understand in the future. I don't know exactly the date. We'll get that back. We will get back to you with that information. And Wausau Area Transit System, 25 buses there. Gosh, from the beginning, folks, we've had 11 by 17 laminated posters on 25 of their buses, yes, with our information on them. And thanks again to those folks. And that would be also Mount View Mobile. Now that again is off Highway 51 and NN in Rib Mountain. That would be under guidance of Tim and Lois Murphy, who unfortunately we will miss them greatly in that situation. They are going to be giving the present station over to some other folks are taking over for them, and just want to wish them well and say thanks again for all that you've done for us, and how you've supported us over the years, as well as for letting us have the gas cans there. We've had the gas card donation can there. Gosh, it's been a little while since I've done this, I guess, sorry. Excuse me, at least this time I do not have that terrible transitional cold. Thank God that's over. Okay, and so the gas card donation can that that was, still is actually, until a little bit of a further notice, from what I understand. We don't know exactly where that will be located or how that will work. We're not even familiar with the folks that are taking over for Tim and Lois Murphy. But we'll find out, and thanks again. And then that just pretty much does it. And regarding the gas cans, folks, also, not only the gas carts do we get, we had been getting them again at Quick Trip because they have fuel-only cards, gas cards. But then also the Mountain View Mobile also was getting the gas cards fuel-only, and so we started getting them from them as well. We want to say thanks again to them. And again, what we do for that is anybody who is so inclined to give a bit of a donation of any kind to put in the gas can, the donation can for the gas cards, can do so. And what we do when it accumulates, we get enough, we take it, and that's when we buy the gas cards, fuel only again. And we also incorporate not only gas cards to the veterans, which I'll go into, I'll explain that again as well, but we also give them food cards, coupons for a lunch from, and the folks that have stepped up for that for us have always been McDonald's, Culver's, and Hardee's. And we once again take a big, huge shout out to them. And so they, along with the gas cards, we give them also the food cards. Then we go to the clinic, the Veterans Clinic, which, from what I understand, there's only one here in town, and we give the cards to the staff, and they distribute them. Again, that's anonymously, and that's just fine, no problem. The, the Veterans Administration had given us a nice kudos several years ago, and along in that letter with the kudos was the mandate that it will be and remain anonymously. And that's just great. I completely understand. We completely understand. So we give it to the staff, and then they choose who they want to have them. And actually, we did also receive, which I have mentioned previously, a thank you on our business line, which again is 715-551-5194. Gentleman called up and just said thanks so much, and that was it. Don't know his name, don't need to. That's quite all right. Thank you so much, folks, for everything that you've done in the way of helping not only ourselves, FRASER Family Foundation, but also the veterans. Because with freedom, there, with someone going before and fighting for our freedom, there would be no freedom. So thanks so much. Okay, just got a few tips here for you folks as well, and there's some really cool ones, some I had never heard of before. I don't get a chance to watch much TV during the day. However, sometimes I do, and some of these shows, this is at the very end of one of the shows. I don't want to misquote, and I don't know what the lady's name is. I don't remember. It was real quick that she did it, but I did write them down. Some of them I'm a little familiar with, and some I'm not. Now, I believe this was on the end of The View. I didn't know they had a home remedy, or whatever you want to call it, holistic type remedy, little segment. But they did. So at any rate, the first thing I want to talk about, and there are folks that we're not only related to, that have, one in particular has migraines, but also tension headaches. And this is a really, really easy one. It's one that you just can't, I just never would have thought of. But when she explained why you do this, it did make sense. A tension headache, when you feel it start to come on, okay, first of all, migraines. An acquaintance of ours had been told by a friend of hers that for this migraine, actually she had already had the migraine, I believe, for one day. I believe I've mentioned this before on the program. And she was so bad with it, not only the pain, but also she was throwing up. And it was really bad for her. And she was talking to a lady that she knew, just happened to be talking to her, that did things holistically like we do, and knew about them. And she said, okay, she said, get yourself a glass of water and 1/3 of a teaspoon of ground ginger. I didn't have this on my list to talk about, but I will mention it because it does go along with the headaches. So this is fresh ginger that you get in the produce department, all right? Now, this is beneficial for an awful lot of things. However, what she's talking about, and I apologize, I don't have it because I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I just remembered. It's ground ginger, just like this. You can get it at any dollar section of the grocery stores, etc. Okay, or the spice areas where they have these, where they have the spices, etc. located. So ground ginger, I believe it's 1/3 of a teaspoon of ground ginger, and you put it and mix it in just a regular cup of water. That's it, okay? And mix it up there and take it. And it not only will stave off, or I guess, I thank God I don't have migraines, rarely have a tension headache, maybe a sinus headache, so I really can't attribute to this for myself, attest to it. However, she said she did it, and even after having that headache for a day or so before, it, boom, it was gone, she said. And really, she really swears by this now. Okay, that worked for her, but there was somebody else had a really bad headache. I guess it started maybe earlier that day, and this was in the evening that we saw them. And I told them about it and said, would you like to try it? They said, yeah. So they did. For them, it didn't work so hot. However, somebody else it did. Everybody's different. We're all individuals, so, you know. Comme ci, comme ça. Okay, so, but that's one thing that you could do, okay? The other thing, and they just listed this as a tension headache. Not a migraine. I don't know about a migraine. I don't think she mentioned the word migraine, but this is a tension headache. A pencil, okay? Cameraman, a pencil. A number 2, any kind of a pencil, okay? You take the pencil, put it between your teeth. Voila. Yeah. Okay. And what that does is, how she explained it, it releases the tension in the jaw and other areas of your head. Said it works. That's all I needed to hear, was that it works. Okay, so that's the first really cool tip I thought that I needed to bring up, along with the migraine headache with the ginger, etc. Okay, now this one is for upset stomachs. In the past, now I have mentioned tea. You know, like, I don't know, people with unfortunately acid reflux, etc. I don't know if the tea would work for them because it's probably too far gone, in my opinion. But I'm not a doctor, no, nothing medical whatsoever. So tea is one that will work automatically, really, for the symptoms. If you get, have had too much spicy food, too much sugar, stuff that just gives you like an acidic feeling, gnawing in your stomach area. So the tea has tannin acid in it, and that's what stops it. Usually stops the symptoms like that. So at any rate, that's one thing. Now another thing that she listed for upset stomach was black tea. And I'm not necessarily saying that mine was black tea because I just made iced tea and drank it. That was it. For me, it went away, boom. Okay, so, but she has specifically listed black tea, and I just so happened had some at the house. So here it is. Okay, I wrote a shot of that. Just any black tea. It does work, as I said, with instant tea as well, to make yourself some. Stick it in the freezer, get it really cold. Oh man, that's great. So black tea and burnt toast. Burnt toast. Yes, you heard me. That was it, right there. But this isn't quite burnt. But it's brown. It's kind of brown. But it says burnt toast, okay? And that's it. That's all she said about the upset stomach. Now this one is pretty cool. This one is about having sore throats. And I got sinus problems. I got some allergies, and sometimes I can't tell a sore throat from a cold, from allergic, to the weather changing, all that kind of thing. I have to wait and kind of see how it reacts. I mean, then I know how to deal with it. But she mentioned one that I had not heard of before. It's kind of iffy in my book. At any rate, it's garlic juice for a sore throat. Garlic juice. Okay. Obviously, I just got these the other day, like day and a half ago or so. So obviously I haven't tried some of these yet. As I said, this one I don't know if I would try. She just said garlic juice from the minced garlic. Then I guess chase it with water. Okay, not mixed together. Well, maybe you could mix it together, I guess, because a lot of garlic sometimes can be hot. So at any rate, garlic juice, and gargle with it for a sore throat. That's what she said. Of course, also what really, really works and has for years is the fresh ginger again. And, excuse me, the ginger is just, as I said, this is from the regular, just the produce department. It's kind of pricey in some grocery stores. There are Asian specialty stores, which is where we basically get ours, which doesn't matter. It seems to me that the the ginger, not the garlic, that we get at the Asian store, specialty store, is really hot. So I don't know if that's, if it's just because it's, because Asian food is hot and I love it. However, I don't know if it's that or just my imagination, and the produce is not, from the grocery stores, is not that hot, but it is a little hot, a little spicy. So anyway, so this is what you do, produce store, Asian specialty store, whatever. Go get yourself some ginger. And regarding the sore throat deal as well, we've talked about this many times. Wash it off. Cut what I call the little eyes, like the eyes on potatoes, the little dings. Cut the little black or brown spots or off, whatever. Now I leave the peeling on because they always say the most healing and minerals, etc., are in the peeling. Okay, so at any rate, just cut it up. Get yourself a nice hot drink, anything. Coffee, tea. When they first told me about it many years ago, they said try an herbal drink. Fine, herbal tea, whatever. Okay, you can also do it with hot cocoa, apple cider, coffee, tea. Gosh, you can even use hot molasses, which is really, really good for iron intake. Right now I can't think of anything else, but a hot drink, a hot toddy even, if you so desire, especially over the holidays. That's cool. Okay, so anyway, it's just chopping again the ginger up, and then also putting cinnamon in. Now cinnamon has many, many functions. However, in this case, it soothes your throat, it drains your head, it balances our blood sugar. Cinnamon is a natural balancer of blood sugar. Okay. And does many, many other things as well. Oh, it's also a natural antiseptic. We do, and we've talked about this many times on our programs between myself and Master Gardener. It's not work, it's fun. Regarding using it to brush our teeth. Okay, it's a natural antiseptic, just like the aloe vera is. And you just either put it on before you put your toothpaste on your toothbrush or after. It's up to you. And actually, we do use other things besides the cinnamon and the toothpaste on our toothbrushes. However, that's where we learned about it. First of all, regarding the fact it's a natural antiseptic, it pulls everything out. It pulls bad stuff out of your mouth, out of your teeth, etc. And yeah, you do feel it, and yeah, they do. It's a little, not toxic, but it is strong. Be careful how much you put on there, and also if you just take it maybe a couple times a day as well, it's great for your body. As I say, it naturally, it balances our blood sugar, natural antiseptic, it calms and soothes our throat. So in the hot drink, along with the ginger, it's phenomenal. It truly is phenomenal. Okay, now the other thing regarding all of that, before I go into the ginger and the ice cube chips, to stop a cough, this is very interesting to me. I'm going to have to do more research on this. I didn't. To stop a cough, not only just take a big old teaspoon of honey, put your honey right there, and take, if you have a regular lemon, squeeze the lemon juice right into the honey. Right, it's great for your throat. It'll just calm your throat, calm your cough. However, the one that I've never heard of this before, to stop a cough, eat dark chocolate. Yeah, that's what I said, eat dark chocolate. Now, how many of us don't want to do that? I do. And of course, I forgot my dark chocolate. Any dark chocolate, get it at the dollar store, get it at the dollar section of the grocery store. Dark chocolate. She didn't mention milk. Now, I don't know about milk chocolate. She just, very speedily, I might add, said dark chocolate for a cough. Actually, my husband tried that, and man, it works. It does work. So I don't know how much of it you have to eat it at a time. He ate like 3 pieces, but it works, okay? Now, this last one is very interesting. Just so cool, I thought. This is for, again, an upset stomach. Also gives you energy. Okay, they said. All right, that's part of getting energy. And it is, all right, once again, the ginger. And of course, ginger also is, I don't think I mentioned this in the other part of what I was talking about just a little while ago previously. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. You have a sprained muscle, a sore muscle, a swollen muscle of any kind, really. Ginger, as well as apple cider vinegar, is a tremendous way, particularly ginger. Because I've tried both. All right, I had an injury years and years ago in California when I worked for Los Angeles Times newspaper. I was an English-Spanish sales verifier, and it was a room that was huge. There was like at least 90 people and 90 desks with computers in that whole entire room, and we had to literally hot foot run. Somebody got to say, man, you got there as quick as you could because you don't want them to lose, or you to lose that sale because you got credit. So anyway, I ran over, somebody raised their hand, ran over as quick as I could, and I jumped, and I landed like that, and I landed just a hair wrong, and I could feel a twinge in my right foot, and from that point on, it started to bother me. Didn't get real swollen or anything, but the muscles were sore. So I contacted somebody who does, we know that does things holistically as well, and asked her, I said, she was a nurse's assistant. I said, you're on your feet all the time. Is there anything holistically that you can think of right off the top of your head you could tell me for sore muscles for being on your feet a lot? Yeah, apple cider vinegar. I said, oh, okay. Wow, how do what do you do? Just like, you don't do it just plain. And she said, well, you can, or you can mix it in juice, or you can take it straight and chase it with juice and water, however you want to do it, put it in your food, whatever. So at any rate, that was one of them. But the other thing for muscles, terrific, is anti-inflammatory wise, is ginger. Fresh ginger in your food, fresh ginger, again, in a coffee, whatever, if you can. If you want to go to the extreme, you got to peel it and stuff and put it in there, of course. It's up to you how you do it. However, fresh ginger. So that's terrific for sore muscles as well as oils. Now, the oils are terrific. If you've got a sore muscle and you want pretty much immediate, almost immediate, within like 20 minutes or so of a reaction on yourself from the outside topically, I suppose if you take it internally, I guess, that's fine. It would work, I suppose, but this is how we learned to do it several years ago. And it might have saved myself from having a knee operation. It was bad, but it wasn't terrifically bad, but it was bad enough that it swelled and hurt. So, and being athletic pretty much my whole life, it was kind of hard for me not to be able to walk without a limp at that point. I just happened to run into a total stranger. I had a bandage wrapped around it, and she said, I know what you need for that knee. And I looked at her. I'd never seen her before, never saw her after again, never. And I said, excuse me? And she said, you want to get some peanut oil? Which I did. It's a little pricey, she said, but peanut oil, come in smaller sizes, but basically they come in sizes about that big. Peanut oil and olive oil. I said, well, what do? What, you rub it on there? I said, well, how often? She said, many times a day as you want to. And she said, it should kind of get warm or heat up a little bit at least within 15, 20 minutes, okay? You just rub them on there as I said, she said, as many times as you need to per day, okay? And she said the peanut oil rejuvenates our joints and the olive oil heals. Now, olive oil is great to take a teaspoon or so. I used to take a teaspoon. I tried it every day. It was too much. So maybe off and on, maybe every other day or once or twice a week or something is fine. But as long as you get olive oil in your food, whatever, it's terrific for us. Okay. So anyway, along with the peanut oil, just rubbed on the area, it works. I was walking just fine within a week, and it really is just phenomenal. These things are holistic, and some people think, well, fine. It doesn't, and you should follow your doctor's advice as well. Of course, we grew up with doctors as well as chiropractors. Gonna say it, yeah. And by the grace of God, all of them work together. Or if you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's fine. It's completely up to you. It's your choice, folks. We just love that you watch. Okay, so at any rate, now, the ginger chips that I'm going to talk about. You get yourself some, again, the ginger from the produce department, anywhere. Asian specialty store, the grocery stores, etc. Okay? So you go, get yourself the ginger, wash it off, of course, really good with the soap and water, and get the dings off, what I call the dings, the eyes, okay? And make sure it's nice and clean, and take it and put it in, okay, first of all, you need an ice tray, okay? Just a regular old ice tray from refrigerator, buy yourself one, okay? And you fill it with your water, and then after you have scraped whatever the ginger, okay, scrape the ginger, you put it inside the ice cube tray. Remember the Kool-Aid that we used to make our own popsicles from, folks, as kids? Oh, what a treat for the kids, right? Love to make them, love even more to eat them. Still get popsicles to this day, love it. Anyway, so you put the ginger right into each individual ice cube compartment. You freeze it, and boy, if you've got an upset stomach, headache, for the sore muscles, anti-inflammatory, all of that. And it does, they say, give you energy as well. I don't know exactly about that, but that's what they say. So at any rate, so you put this in there, put it in the freezer, let it freeze. Take it out, and when you get that stuff, you just go to the freezer, you pop them in your mouth, and that's it. And you probably want to make it, I haven't tried it yet, but you probably want to make it real small. And make sure you get not just the peeling, of course, but the inside. Okay, folks, listen, this was our pleasure once again to come into your home, okay? We can't say thanks enough to all of our sponsors. Want to give a shout out and feel so much better for everybody who's feeling a little under the weather. You know who you are, Robbie. Dennis, Betty, anybody who's a little under the weather at this point, and say, love you, praying for you. And say thank you so much once again to City Council and to the former mayor and the new mayor and all the other new City Council members and the ones that are leaving. And thanks so much. We just can't say thanks enough. And thank God. Thank God for everything. So adios. Hasta la próxima semana. Adios, Roberto, Betty, Alejandro.